Iran executed 3 men accused of killing 2 police officers during protests back in January. This includes 19-year-old Saleh Mohammadi, a member of Iran's wrestling team. Amnesty International says he was denied, quote, adequate defense and forced to make confessions.
With 2 other men, human rights groups are calling it a political execution, while authorities claim the men were involved in deadly violence during protests. Here's what happened. According to reports, Saleh Mohammadi, who was just 19 years old and considered a rising wrestling talent, was executed publicly. He was not alone. 2 other men, Mehdi Ghassemi and Saeed Davoudi, were also executed at the same time. All 3 had been arrested during a major crackdown on anti-government protests earlier this year. The executions were carried out by hanging in public, which has drawn strong international reaction. Iranian authorities accused the 3 men of a serious crime known as waging war against God. They also claimed the men were responsible for killing 2 police officers during the protests, allegedly using weapons like knives and swords. Because of these accusations, they were sentenced to death. However, many people are questioning the case. Organizations like Amnesty International say the trial was unfair. They claim the men were denied proper legal defense, forced to confess under pressure, and given a fast-track trial that did not follow normal legal standards. Human rights activists say Saleh Mohammadi was allegedly tortured before his confession. One activist, Nima Far, called the execution a political murder. The executions have caused anger around the world. There were calls from the United States and others to stop the executions, but they still went ahead. Even U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier claimed that executions in Iran were being reduced, something Iranian officials later denied. Meanwhile, activists are now calling for action against Iran in the sports world. Some have urged organizations like the International Olympic Committee to ban Iran from international competitions. This is not the first time an athlete has been executed in Iran. Many people are comparing this case to Navid Afkari, a wrestler who was executed in 2020 after taking part in protests. Activists say this shows a pattern where athletes and public figures are targeted to silence dissent. The executions come after large protests earlier this year. Thousands of people were reportedly arrested during those demonstrations. Some reports claim that thousands may have been killed, although exact numbers are unclear. There are also growing fears that more executions could happen in the coming weeks. The execution of Saleh Mohammadi has become a powerful symbol of the ongoing tensions in Iran. While authorities say justice was served, many around the world believe this case raises serious questions about human rights and fair trials. As pressure builds internationally, the situation remains tense, and the world is watching closely.
CBS News contributor and Iranian activist Masih Alinejad. So let's talk more about this. Thanks for joining us. First and foremost, why would a government target athletes specifically? What makes them uniquely powerful or threatening compared to other citizens?
Because athletes are not athletes in Iran. They are the role model and heroes of millions of people. When an athlete join the uprising and say no to regime, it breaks the propaganda tool of the entire regime. Athletes and sport is the heart of a nation. And this regime is wounded because of the mass uprising. That's why they're targeting the heart of the nation. Look, it is very heartbreaking because 3 of them were executed in Rome, and 2 of the protesters were executed in other cities. And Saleh Mohammadi was only 19 years old. But listen, I really want to name them all because this is very important. Javidnam Saleh Mohammadi, only 19 years old. Javidnam Mehdi Ghassemi. Javidnam Saeed Davoudi. Javidnam Daniel Kramati. Javidnam Mohsen Azimnia. Their crime, peacefully taking to the street and protesting against the regime. And that's why the regime executed them, because they want to show the Iranian people, set up an example and tell them that if you take back to the street again, we will execute you. That's the Islamic Republic.
A stern message, very emotional message.
Pemain tetap diam saat lagu kebangsaan dinyanyikan dan itu menarik perhatian kelompok garis keras di dalam negeri. Ada 1 orang di media pemerintah yang menyebut mereka pedagang massa perang. Lalu ketika Australia mencoba menawarkan suaka kepada mereka, mereka melakukan pemeriksaan keamanan hanya untuk memastikan bahwa mereka bisa menahan mereka di Australia. Australia melakukan upaya terakhir untuk meyakinkan mereka agar tidak kembali dan memahami bahwa Australia menawarkan suaka kepada mereka bersama juru bahasa untuk menjelaskan bahwa mereka tidak harus pulang.
Anggota keluarga mereka sudah kembali ke rumah dan itulah masalahnya. Keluarga mereka akan disiksa.
Dan sekarang kita tidak tahu apa yang terjadi pada mereka naik ke pesawat. Banyak dari mereka naik pesawat dan kembali lagi. Tidak ada cara bagi kita untuk mengetahui apa yang terjadi pada mereka saat ini.
Jadi upaya mencari suaka mengatakan kepada Fox bahwa para pemain dipaksa kembali ke Iran, telepon mereka disadap, dan setidaknya satu pemain ditahan keluarganya di Iran.
Wanita ini kembali ke pesawat itu demi keluarga mereka. Mereka tahu keluarga mereka dalam bahaya. Mereka tahu bahwa mereka tidak aman. Mereka juga tahu bahwa mereka berpotensi kehilangan harapan akan masa depan di sepak bola. Terus mereka mungkin juga akan menghadapi tuntutan yang sangat berat.
Media pemerintah Iran menyebut para wanita ini sebagai pengkhianat perang karena tidak memberi hormat dan menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Iran pada pertandingan sepak bola Piala Asia pertama mereka Senin lalu sebagai bentuk protes terhadap rezim. Lalu kami mengatakan terlalu banyak atlet di seluruh dunia yang tidak mengakui keberanian mereka.
Ada banyak wanita di negara-negara barat juga. Mereka memilih untuk tetap diam tentang Iran dan para wanita di Iran. Bagi banyak dari mereka, ini tentang tidak ingin menjadi Islamofobia. Meskipun para wanita di Iran telah berulang kali mengatakan ini bukan tentang agama, ini tentang pemaksaan.
The Iranian regime using sport as a tool.
What do these cases signal about where Iran is headed, though? Do actions like this signal strength and control or insecurity and fear of losing public support?
That's a very good question. Fear. Which government? You tell me. A normal government never is scared of an athlete simply saying no to, tyranny. A normal government never gets scared of a woman showing her hair. A normal government never fear a teenager simply dancing and posting the video on Instagram. Normal government never have fear of unarmed people taking to the streets. They are scared of their own people. And let's be very clear. When President Trump actually said that the Iranian regime told him that they're going to stop hanging more than 800 innocent protesters, we all knew that this is a big lie. So this regime is weakened now. They are wounded. And that's why they're first taking revenge to their own people. Second, they want to send a signal to President Trump and the rest of the world that this desperate regime is willing to do anything to stay in power. That's why I'm calling on President Trump. I'm calling on global athletes right now, because this is the right moment. If the world keep quiet, they will hang more protesters. You know why? Because right now my team is working and they're telling me that more than 100 athletes are in prison and they are waiting to be executed. I myself, 3 years ago, I launched a campaign called United for Navid when Navid Afkari was executed by the same regime. President Trump was the only one actually named Navid Afkari. Now we need his voice again. And now we need the voice of athletes in America again to stand with the people of Iran, because otherwise they will turn the mass arrest to mass executions. To whitewash their crimes. That's in the playbook of all dictators. They know how to use sports to send a signal to the rest of the world and saying that this is a normal country. It's not, because they're using the soccer players wearing hijab to normalize Islamism, Islamic barbaric laws. That's why the soccer players in Australia, they actually asked for asylum, but they put pressure on their family. They detained their family members. They threatened them, saying that we arrest you. They threatened them by rape, execution. They made them to go back to Iran, and now they put the headscarf again on their head. You can compare those two pictures. One picture of soccer players in Australia, biggest smile on their face, freedom. The hair was shown, and the pictures in Iran, forced hijab, bringing them on TV, state television, to praise the regime. You know, you need to hear the story of the soccer player Shiva Amini. She said it very, very beautifully and painfully. The guilt They make the soccer players feel guilty about their own family members. This is what the regime is doing now to athletes.
Ini adalah suatu story, cerita kesaksian dari Sifa Amini, seorang gadis Iran, atlet pemain sepak bola profesional, berusia 27 tahun, yang bermain di dalam negeri Iran, juga di luar negeri, mewakili negaranya Iran. Bagaimana kemudian Sifa, ketika bertanding di Swiss dan tidak mengenakan hijabnya, diketahui oleh pemerintah Republik Islam Iran dan pejabat IRGC melalui video Instagram yang diunggahnya, dan terancam ditahan dan menerima hukuman. Sifa meminta suaka perlindungan dan tidak kembali ke negaranya. Akibatnya keluarganya di Iran mendapat intimidasi, dan ini kisahnya yang disampaikan kepada United Nations Watch.
They wanted to make an example of me. In their eyes, I was a criminal. I lost my whole life in a snap of a finger. I lost my home, my safety, my family. I lost my dad, and I couldn't go to his funeral. Sorry. Or even hug him one last time before he died.
Through because I've been in their shoes. You know, the regime, Iranian regime, put you in this situation. You have to say goodbye to everything that you have in Iran, or you have to get back in that hell, because you're gonna go. Everything can happen for you if you go in Iran. You can face prison, you can face rape, you can face even execution. We have an example, Navid Afkari, wrestling champion. The regime got hanged him. And I mean, we have right now a lot of athletes in prison. We have a lot of athletes got killed in the recent protest in Iran. And the regime don't care about who you are. You are athlete, you are men, you are woman. So what happened to me, I was in Switzerland, and the regime put me in a situation, like I just simply play soccer with my friends without my hijab on. And the regime saw my social media and used that against me because they wanted to make an example of me for the other athletes in Iran. So I took everything from me.
That's why we are calling the international community to help us. You know, I couldn't sleep last night because I knew that they're going to hang the athletes. I knew that they're going to hang the protesters. And with empty hands, we cannot do anything. And I want to say something to the Democrats here as well. Thanks to the Senator Fetterman, the only Democrat in America, he condemned the execution and he said he will stand with the people of Iran. We need America, whether they're Republican or Democrat, to stand with the people of Iran and condemn the execution and be the voice of political prisoners, because they are living in shutdown, internet shutdown, total darkness. We don't know how many of them are going to be executed. America, history is watching you. The global athletes, history is watching you. And Saleh was only 19 years old. The rest of the athletes are waiting to be executed. Help the people of Iran to stop executions.
Masi Alinejad, appreciate it. We'll continue this conversation. Thank you.